Conversation. Calls for violence are dangerous as this could lead to the loss of lives and properties. This is the position of the Jackson Ohaneze-led faction of Ohaneze Ndi'igbo, Igbo social-cultural organization. It was condemning the remarks made by Amaechi, former Minister of Transport, against the Bola Tinubu administration. On January 30, Amaechi said Tinubu and other members of the political class would not cede power to the younger generation without a fight. He canvassed for political vigilance, warning that power must be fought for. Now, in response, on Saturday, Okechukwu Isuguzoro, who is the Deputy President General of the faction, denounced Amaechi's statement as a threat to democracy, peace and civility. Isuguzoro said the group distances itself from Amaechi's statement, adding that the Igbo people would never endorse any political conspiracy to undermine the legitimacy of an elected president. Mayor, Section 39 of the Constitution talks about freedom of expression and opinion, but there is a line you don't cross. No, but first of all, the comment made by the former governor of Rivers State. What do you make of that? I want to say it's inappropriate. I don't want to use a stronger word, but I think it's inappropriate. And much is expected from somebody like Honorable Amaechi, who has benefited perhaps more than any other person from the goodness of the Nigerian state. He was a former speaker. He was a two-time speaker of Rivers State. He was two-time governor of Rivers State. He was a minister in this country. He ran for president on the platform of APC. But because he didn't win, he now sits down and talking crap. You know, when people say certain things and you say that, oh, they're not going to give it to you, you have to fight for it. Of course. It is right to say that if you want power, you have to fight for it. But you don't say it in the sense that you were giving examples where there was supposed to be violence and they had to give in because people were scared of that violence. And you try to infer that people should use violence. There's no space for violence in a democracy. If you want to serve, you put yourself forward, you get a platform, and you canvass for votes. And if people believe in your vision, they will vote for you. But to insinuate that you have to fight and grab it, not in the sense the way it should be. Yes, people have to fight for power. Of course, politics is war by another name. So you have to fight for power. But when you are making, especially somebody that is well respected, that have been in positions of authority in this country, you have to be careful what you say. Don't try to give impression that the only way you can get power is through violence. That's not appropriate. That's inappropriate. You cannot say that. I can understand what this guy was trying to tell him because I watched the same thing that we were saying. Yes. And he was trying to insinuate that if you don't, that those who have succeeded were because they were ready to die. That was what he used, that you must be ready to die. That is the only way you can grab this power. Yes. There's no way for you to be ready to die. Ready to die for and what? That is somebody who became governor without dying. Yes, so why would you say that? That's not appropriate. So, BK, the Ohaneze Ndi'igbo said... You know, people say all kinds of things. Is that what they say? Atiku Abubakar was abusing judges the other day, saying that judges are the problem of the judiciary is the problem of Nigeria. This is a man that Obasanjo wanted to send packing as vice president. Yes. It was the judiciary that stood up and said, no, this is a joint ticket. You are like Siamese twins. Yes. You can't chase him away. And he rose to become the first Nigerian serving VP to decamp from his party. Atiku set that record. Yeah. There's no other person that highly placed who defected from a party. And he didn't lose his position. He joined the ACN also at that time. ACN. Okay. He had forgotten. We were counting the many times that
Afe Babalola, Obasanjo's lawyer, was being defeated by Atiku's lawyers in that 2007, because Obasanjo was bent on dealing with him. It was this same judiciary that saved him. But because judgment didn't go in his favor, and in any case, they didn't have proof. They didn't have proof. The evidence they brought to court was that Abuja should not, that nobody should be president if he didn't have 5% in Abuja. I wonder whether there is any country in this world where there is such stipulation in their laws that you must have 25% in a particular county or in a particular state before you can be electable. Extremely asinine argument that people are coming up, and you ask yourself whether they went to school. That a small part of Nigeria, as small as Lagos is, Abuja is such a tiny part of our country, and people thought they were making sense by saying if you do not have 25% in Abuja, you are not electable. And I asked the question that, okay, if you won in 35 states,
okay,
or even 36 states, if you have 25%, 36 states, and you fail to have 25% in Abuja, so you are not electable. Because when people are overwhelmed by emotions, common sense takes a flight. To imagine that somebody must have 25% in one small portion of Nigeria, where it is not as if the people who live there have two heads.
True.
Or they go around with 4 legs or 4 genitalias. And you are holding on to that it has to be it was part of what they took to court, and they wanted to win at the presidential election tribunal. Such an issue, even that's why the issue had even been decided earlier. They still, because they didn't have evidence, they still brought it. They were still trying to shoehorn it amongst the evidence that they wanted to present. Atiku can freely insult judges now after all the favors that they had done to him. Amaechi is similar. This is a man who never won an election to become governor. This is a man, like he said, that this democracy has been so good to him. Amaechi became governor. It was Odili that made him governor. Odili actually, even his wedding was inside government house. It was Mumaji that played at his wedding. I still remember.
It was a staff, it was a personal assistant to Odili.
Yes, it was Mumaji that played at his wedding. The wedding was done inside government house.
Yes.
He has this democracy has been so good to him, and then he keeps talking like he is one fantastic Democrat. Oh, you that even in APC, your party, after you defected to APC, you couldn't hold the people together. And
you're fighting like
you caused your party to not even have a single candidate. In the 2019 election, they were not allowed to present candidate because Amaechi will not even do what the court told him to do. He's an extremely arrogant man. The court said, oh, you cannot run a party to the exclusion of others. Let all of these other people be part of the primaries. You cannot exclude the Magnolia base of this world.
Yes.
Because he was not prepared to do that, he preferred to let APC lose the state. That's the sort of person that Amaechi is. Somebody who locked up the judiciary. Nigerians, he was talking about Nigerians because Nigerians have short memory. Even about him, Nigerians are showing their short memory. Some of the people listening to him now should know that he's not qualified to say some of the nonsense that he's saying. Amaechi locked the judiciary for many months. Tell me which Democrat. He was asked to come and speak about how to deepen democracy.
That's what he was told.
That was what they told him, and he's saying the exact opposite of that. You are teaching people to get violent to win an election. You are saying that, oh, Tinubu will not give. Is it Tinubu's place to give people victory? He is chasing that victory himself. It is the Nigerian people who can determine whether Tinubu will win in 2027. And Tinubu knows that he has to do his best so that Nigerians can vote for him. He knows. In his heart, he knows that for the election that is coming, if he wants to run, then there are certain things that he needs to do. If he couldn't stop Nigerians, if he couldn't stop Nigerians from voting against him in Lagos, and he lost Lagos, you remember?
Yes,
now?
in 2023.
Yes. So why are you saying that he is the one who will give? What if Nigerians vote against him? Are you a one-man country? Do you think that Nigerians, if Nigerians said they don't want Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they will vote against him? We've seen that happen before. Leave Nigerians to decide that. Don't get to the point of making it look like, oh, nobody can win an election. APC lost 10 states that they were in control of in that last election.
Yes.
10 states. In fact, look at Kaduna. I learned the whole of Kaduna APC won only 2 local governments in the presidential election. They won Birnin-Gwari and Weda Sanga, 1 local government. And Asiwaju went there to campaign. Oh. El-Rufai was there. Oh.
And a sitting PDP president lost an election in this same country.
Yes. I'm saying that APC,
yes,
even as ruling party,
yes,
out of the states that they controlled, they lost 10.
10, yes, I know, I agree with what you're saying.
States like Kebbi, they were in control of Kebbi now.
People in power have been losing elections.
No, he's been happy. Amaechi and co are just trying to, it's just scaremongering.
So when you say people must be ready to die,
it's just scaremongering, frightening people unnecessarily.
All right, gentlemen, we need to go on those break. But when we return, I'm going to ask you, because some persons have argued that the former minister hold such an opinion if he was part of the cabinet of...
Amaechi?
Yes.
Of course not.
Tinubu, will he still hold such an opinion?
Not.
But I would allow you to answer that question after this break. When we return, the conversation continues. Still Journalist Hangout. All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have BKO and Mayor Kimpel. Before we went on that break, I asked you, will the former minister hold such opinion if he was actually part of the cabinet?
Of course not. Of course not. And I'll tell you why. He was a minister, was a top minister under Buhari. And when he makes any policy, I remember when he was defending the rail between Maradi and Katsina. You understand? A lot of people criticize that we don't have the same Niger that are taking it to now that is not even having a relationship with us. You understand? But he defended it. He defended it. If he had been in government, he won't be saying this crap. But you know, his problem is that sometimes there are some people that have overblown image of themselves.
Oh, really?
And yes, and because Amaechi has been very lucky.
Extremely
lucky. Like he said, he never in the first
he's not known to have.
He didn't contest election.
He didn't contest
because there was the nomination.
Yeah, the
Obasanjo said there was K-leg and all that. He went to court, and the court said, "Look, people voted for the party, so no matter who the candidate is, no people voted. He didn't contest. He was in his house.
He did not even have to be declared winner.
Yes,
he only said, declare that I'm the candidate of the party.
Yes.
But the Supreme Court went ahead. They wanted to punish Obasanjo for his love for impunity. Okay. They then said, okay, go and swear him in.
That because he's the candidate, and so since the party won the election, then he was sworn in as governor. He's the same person that has been so much enjoyed that. Then when he now became transport minister, he wanted to be president. You understand? He wanted to be president. He contested the primaries. And because he lost the primaries, he got angry. And didn't want to have anything to do with the party.
Yes.
How can you claim you are a Democrat? A party that has given you so much. You were just an immediate minister, top minister in that same government. Because you contested primaries and lost. And you decided that you don't want to be part of that election. Don't forget that he was the DG of Buhari's campaign.
Yes.
So he just thought he was a superstar. And he doesn't see any
he thought there was nobody like him.
That why he shouldn't be a candidate. So if you are saying something now, don't tell us that crap. Because we know that if you are a member, if you had been a member of this government, you won't be saying what you're saying.
He said that politicians are empowered to steal, maim, and kill.
Yeah.
So when he was governor, was he also stealing,
talking about himself as well?
Killing and maiming? That they are just that is because people do not fight for their rights, people do not defend their votes. In Rivers State, where he comes from, women, they defended their votes against men dressed in army uniform, perhaps they were even soldiers, who wanted to come and cut away electoral materials at a collation center. They stood their ground. Amaechi could not use federal might in Rivers State in 2019.
2019, yes.
It's on record. He said you cannot wish me away in how APC won election. Oh, what are you trying to tell us? You know how there are things you know about how APC won election that we don't know. This is a man who was looking into the cameras and was saying that that he could have sent thugs to disrupt a procession of lawyers validly protesting against the fact that he locked up court. He said, I could have put robes, lawyers' robes on thugs to beat you people up as you were protesting. I still remember my boss, Gbemiga Ogunleye, we still talked about it not long ago, that a governor, to tell you the kind of people who become governors in our country, a governor will be saying that he could have given robes to thugs who will now mingle with lawyers who are protesting in Port Harcourt so that they can beat them off, cut them with machetes and all that. So he has this exaggerated impression of himself. And he talks like, oh, I'm sure he didn't prepare for that thing, because if you came prepared, you will have known what to say about how we can deepen democracy in our country. He didn't say anything about it. Instead of simply whipping up anger, trying to show that people can only win election in Nigeria by resorting to violence. Come on, we've seen people win election here without slapping anybody.
Exactly.
We've seen people, Jonathan, he saw that he lost the election. He didn't, if as a sitting president, if he wanted to use violence,
he could have used violence.
If he wanted to use violence, we could have used it. Because he even said, he said before the close of election that day that they were getting some reports that were unpalatable. But he didn't move. He said from the beginning that my vote is not worth anybody's life. The blood of any Nigerian. I mean, what was it called? My ambition is not worth anybody's life. So he decided to simply accept his fate.
Okay.
If Amaechi was the president, he found himself in Jonathan's position, what would he have done? He's saying people do not defend their votes. Even as far back as 1983, I saw people in Ondo State, they defended their votes. People have been defending their votes. We see it now.
So this also brings...
But people must also learn to accept defeat.
This also brings...
Otherwise, you subject yourself to an endless life of agony.
The conversation...
You keep commenting about an election that you lost. It's like what the Yorubas will say, an election is gone. Stop agonizing over an election that is gone, about which you can do nothing.
So I think the conversation about politicians making comments that can whip up, that can disturb the polity, it is very, very important. But anyway, let's move straight to our next conversation.